Hello and welcome to a special New Year edition of SFP-Now, in which we are going to be talking about the very best of genre entertainment for the year of 2016. Joining me for this show are Marx Pyle of GenreTainment.
Hello.
And our good friend Jeff Burns of the much-loved YouTube channel Super Geeked Up.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much. Much loved. I like that.
Super loved.
Super loved up. Super geeked up. So,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So we're basically going to do best and worst here of what we consider 2016. Breaking down into films, TV series, comics. For some of these things, I don't really have a worst as such. So, basically, the worst is kind of a discretionary thing. So, what should we start with? Should we start with films?
Porn.
Sure. Huh?
What porn? Let's do porn.
Yeah, are we doing the porn category too?
Best sci-fi porn parodies. The award goes to
What, the $6 million cock?
Oh God. Is that a real one, or did you just make that up?
I just made that one up. But it wouldn't
now it's gonna get made though.
It wouldn't surprise me if it is a real.
That's a great title though for one. That's a great one. Except the $6 million man is too old, I guess, for anybody to parody it.
Yeah, well, maybe the $6 billion cock, or you could have Star Trek: The Next Penetration, Star Trek Heir, Star Trek Deep Throat 9.
Oh wow!
See, he's pulled all these right out of his head. Wow, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think he's thought about this a lot. Actually,
I think he has.
Yeah, so like it's watching Supernatural. Dean Winchester is such a bad influence on me.
Because he watches a lot of porn?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Does he really? I don't watch Supernatural, so I don't know.
There's always one or two porn references in those shows, isn't there?
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay, well, besides porn.
Sorry, I got us off track right off the bat. No, thanks. Sorry. Pick a category.
Okay,
Ian is lost in thought.
He's thinking of more porn-like parody titles.
Okay, let's start on films. Who wants to go first?
I think Mark should go first.
Okay.
He's very erudite.
Am I going to give multiple ones, or one? Or are we doing one at a time?
How about we do one at a time?
Okay. I think one of the movies I really enjoyed.
Unlike a porn movie, we're doing one at a time. Sorry.
So one of the movies I really liked this year that was sort of a surprise, just wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, was Deadpool.
Yep, it's on my list.
Yep, that was very clever and well done.
Yeah, I've got that on my list, and I think that's probably my best movie of the year, to be honest.
Oh, sweet. I will say, like, I've been a fan of Deadpool in the comics back probably when I was a teenager, and I think they just perfectly captured like how I envisioned Deadpool should be, right? So I think they just nailed, maybe better than any other character possibly, just about, that they've converted to the film. Like, Ryan Reynolds just did a fantastic job, and the writing was just spot on.
Mm-hmm. And so what was also awesome about that film is both GenreTainment and SFP-Now got some pretty good interviews out of that film.
Oh, that's right.
And it was crazy because we was getting offered people left, right, and centre from various things at that particular point in time. We couldn't do all of them, so we just had to pick out what we could do. And what I couldn't do, I just shoved over to Marx.
Yeah, but that did not influence my decision in any way.
Of course it didn't. It was like you got the makeup artist guy, right?
CGI guy, yeah.
Yeah, the CGI guy, and
the body of the face of Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So Deadpool, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
Yep. Much better than the Deadpool from the X-Men movies. Or Wolverine,
Absolutely.
I mean.
Well, from X-Men Origins, Wolverine X.
Yeah.
You mean, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Well, that was this not Deadpool.
No, I was like the merc with the mouth. Let's take his mouth away.
I think they were just trying to set it up or something. I don't know what they were trying to do.
I don't know what they're trying to do there. Oh well, that was a different year.
That was a long time ago.
Who's next?
You want to go next, Jeff?
Okay. So, first off, I'm going to preface this by saying I didn't see a ton of movies this year, and I tried to catch up the last couple of weeks. You doing a lot of redboxing for the show, watching stuff. And then I realized I was correct in not really caring about seeing those movies in the theaters. But anyway, I did pick out a couple I did enjoy. So besides Deadpool, I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't think a lot of people did. But I really like the film called The Shallows.
No, I didn't see that.
Not seen it. I've heard it.
Yeah, so that's kind of like thriller / horror, I guess, is how they classify it. It's Blake Lively's in it, who I like a lot. But I mean, it's a shark movie, basically. She goes to this tropical island, and she gets stuck like out on this rock, basically away from shore, and the shark is like trying to kill her, and it's all about her kind of trying to outwit the shark. Mm-hmm. And I know that's been done plenty of times, but I don't know, there's something about those shark movies that like always kind of appeal to me, and this one I think is done very well. She's really good in it. It's pretty. It's pretty much her the entire movie, besides for a couple other people occasionally. She's got to make this movie work on her acting alone, pretty much, and she does. And the cinematography is absolutely beautiful. Wherever they shot it was gorgeous. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I mean, like, it's a good it's a good thriller.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Oh, here's one of mine that didn't come out this year, but it was released through streaming this year and also DVD and Blu-ray. I think it came out tail end of last year, but I kind of missed it. But I wanted to mention it anyway because I absolutely loved it. The Martian.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good movie.
I absolutely loved that film. I watched it twice in a matter of 2 days because I was only half watching it the first time, and I thought, well, I'm getting into this. I need to watch this again and just really pay attention. But it sort of like it was kind of like Robinson Crusoe in space.
Are you going to try the Martian diet, Ian?
What, Mars bars?
Nothing but potatoes.
All potatoes, yeah.
Yeah. Some people are doing that.
They are?
Yeah.
Based off of the movie?
I guess. I don't know. It's some new little trend.
Well, I don't think the movie was trying to advocate that was a good idea.
I don't think so.
So what happens if they just saw like OD on these potatoes? Do they turn into Sontarans or something? Like from Doctor Who?
Who knows? Origin story. Secret origin story.
I would think Matt Damon's character would never want potatoes again after that.
I would think so too.
Yeah, even if they repackaged them and says, "Hey, fancy some new potatoes? How about some King Edwards?"
All right, so I guess I'm up next. Doctor Strange. It's Marvel. It was really good. Great cast. Good special effects. Awesome visuals. What did you guys think?
I haven't seen that, but that's the one I actually do really want to see.
Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't seen it, wanted to go see it, but at the time I was kind of like in the process of moving house. It came out the weekend that I moved, and with everything that was going on at that time, I just didn't, get around to it.
Mm-hmm. So it's a really good movie. I think they did a good job introducing magic to the Marvel universe. So
nice. I will say everything I've seen of it and the clips look really good.
Mm-hmm. It's a strong one.
Okay. So we got that's three that's three down. We got a few more picks. Jeff, your turn again. Or is it?
All right. Yeah, no, I'll go. The only other one I have on my list, and mainly because I figured I put three down. And again, to show you, I'm not thrilled with your movies. I put Star Trek Beyond down. I just saw it 2 days ago on video. I thought this movie was going to be terrible because I thought Into Darkness was really crappy. And I'm not. But I actually thought this was the best of the reboot movies that they've done. it was it's not a great movie, but it's a very enjoyable, well done movie. I don't understand why this movie was not the movie that came after the reboot, and like this should have been what Into Darkness was, because this was a new. My problem with Into Darkness is they were just repeating Wrath of Khan, and I wanted them to do their own thing, and this was a new thing, this was a new adventure with that crew, and that's what they should have done. So this should have just replaced Into Darkness, and then I would have been fine with the reboots. I don't know. Did you guys see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I actually mostly agree with you. I mean, I think it's the best out of the 3 reboot movies. One reviewer, when it first came out, said it was the best Star Trek movie ever.
Oh my god! I almost spit my drink out when you said that.
even better than
Yeah, she yelled out to that.
And the thing is, this review was actually a professional reviewer as well. I'll not mention names, but it just kind of took me off guard when I read that, and I thought, I must go see this, check it out. And when I did, I kind of went out disappointed, because I was expecting it to be better than Wrath of Khan.
Oh god, I was expecting shit, so I was happy to not get shit.
And it wasn't. But what it was actually, I loved the stuff with Spock and McCoy. It was his first time that they'd really worked on that relationship, on in the movies. I mean, it's kind of like been hinted at in the first 2, but not really tackled properly. I loved the fun moment, that Spock's given Aurora this thing, which just happens to contain so much so much of property that can actually be used as a tracking device and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really like the character of Jada, who was one of the alien women.
Jada was awesome.
She was one of the best parts.
What wasn't so good was the villain. I felt the villain was very, very, very much on.
And we won't give too much away because Marx hasn't seen it. But I was just thinking that I don't think they've done a good job with the villains in any of the reboot movies.
Yeah. Like
Cumberbatch was obviously he's a great actor. He's one of my favorites. But I think they've missed the boat on all the villains. They're not working, and that's where they're really failing in these movies.
Even the worst of the Next Generation and the original Star Trek movies, they at least had sort of like a backstory or an origin story for their villains.
I don't think a lot of the Star Trek movies have really great villains, except for Khan and the Borg Queen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. First Contact and Khan. Those are the 2 that come to my mind.
Yeah, and those are probably the strongest ones. My favorites, at least.
But you know what? I love Voyage Home the best, though, I think. But that didn't really need a strong villain because it was a time travel movie.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And so, by the way, to say that this movie is better than Khan, Voyage Home, Undiscovered Country, First Contact is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. That's just nonsense. Not even in the same league as those movies.
No, definitely not. But it was good. It was a good, fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so Matt, you next.
Ian, you're next.
Yeah, I think you're
Am
next.
I? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with my second best, my second best choice, Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
I just kind of really enjoyed, the fact, and you think about it as well, roughly the time that came out, the UK was preparing to vote themselves out of the EU, and it's kind of weird how, you had the ideologies of Captain America and Tony Stark, breaking apart and stuff like that, so that they end up fighting each other, over their differing ideologies, and it sort of like kind of coincided with the UK, choosing to leave the EU, and obviously what's sort of happened since then. But I felt it was a pretty good film. I thought the Spider-Man introduction was awesome.
Yeah.
And, it was a fun movie. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun action-packed movie that moved forward the kind of meta plot of stuff built up in the previous Captain America movies and Avenger movies. I thought was good. I missed Thor though. Thor and Hulk.
Yeah, I missed Hulk. I missed Hulk more than Thor, but that's basically down to I just think Matt Ruffalo just knocks it out of the park every time.
Yeah. All right. Did you like it, Jeff, or did you see it?
I did see it. I did like it. I did forget about it the day after I watched it. So here's the thing. I would have mentioned something, but I think I should do it at the end of our movie segment here because I have a whole thing I want to get your guys' take on how how I feel the movie industry is in a really bad shape right now.
Sure.
I think it's oversaturated with superhero movies for one thing.
And that movie kind of is an example I'm going to use.
Okay.
Well, I've got a better example for you, and this is actually my worst movies list, so I'll say it now.
Are we done with? Wait, Mark, did you have any other best ones you wanted to slip in though?
I want to mention one more as just a oddball one, just so saying something that's not mainstream as much. There's a movie that's on Netflix right now called Arq, ARQ, and it's a nice little sci-fi movie about these two people get stuck in a time loop with people in a home invasion kind of thing in the future. And they did a really good job mixing up and developing the different plot threads, revealing certain things as they went along. And it was an interesting story. I think it's...
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think it stars the guy... Oh, man, I can't remember his name now, but he was in... I think he was in Flash. I think he played Weather Wizard, right? He's the cousin of the guy of the person who stars in Arrow.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The cousin of the person who stars in Arrow.
I'm very bad with names.
I can
Amell or whatever his last name. Yeah.
Well, wait, you don't mean Robbie Amell, right?
Yes, him.
Yeah.
Oh, Robbie Amell wasn't Weather Wizard.
Oh, who was he?
Robbie Amell.
Oh, Firestorm. That's right. That's right. I don't know why I got that mixed up.
Oh, is he the cousin? I thought he's cousins with Stephen Amell. I thought he was brothers for some reason.
Nah, cousin.
Yeah. So anyway, he stars in it and did a good job.
It actually sounds really cool, that movie. I'll check it out.
I'm going to check that out. Do you have one more best? Because I'm
done.
Okay, I've got one more best, and you're probably going to yawn. But I'm going to talk about the flaws of the movie as well. So, Rogue One, Star Wars movie.
I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it.
Yeah, either.
It's kind of like Star Wars does Guns of Navarone in a way. It's sort of like it's structured like classic sort of like 70s World War II movie, in the sense that how the characters come together. Jyn Erso's really good. She's a good strong character. But the second lead that's in it, I can't remember, I think he's called Cassian or something. He was kind of like underdeveloped, and you have these two bloody brilliant characters who are also underdeveloped. So basically, the action was good, but the characters, for me, seemed kind of undercut to a point. And the CGI I felt was pretty good for Grand Moff Tarkin. I know a lot of people criticising it. You can tell that it's CGI. But, you can only tell it's CGI if you've seen Peter Cushing in the original films, sort of thing. If you hadn't seen that, you probably wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, so they did a CGI Peter Cushing as Tarkin?
Yeah, and they had a British actor. I can't, they had Guy Henry, who's well known here in the UK for his role in Holby City. And he also played young Sherlock Holmes back in 1982 in a TV series called Young Sherlock. He did the voice of Grand Moff Tarkin, and he pretty much knocked it out of the park performance-wise. He was channeling Peter Cushing without doing an impersonation, because he actually does have a very similar intonation. And He also has very similar angular facial features than Cushing, which is why they were able to CGI over it. But the best thing is the movie actually makes A New Hope better. The worst thing is Krennic, the villain, is underwhelming and very much overshadowed by Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader. And Darth Vader's only in it for 4 minutes.
Good job spoiling it for me.
And that's not spoiled.
I was expecting 5 minutes. I don't want to watch it right now.
But I thought it was a pretty good film and it's actually shown that a Star Wars prequel can work.
Mm-hmm. Or even stories between the stories.
Yep.
I personally would rather see that. I would like to see stories happening between like the current trilogy and stuff. Mm-hmm. My personal, like moving forward at some point. I don't always look back.
Okay, I've got two worst. My first worst is Batman versus Superman. Sorry, Dawn of Justice.
Or some people call Superman versus Batman. No, I'm teasing.
No, actually, Batman versus Superman: Yawn of Justice. Which was just so like 2.5 hours of exposition, beating the shit out of each other, and the only thing that came anywhere near to saving it was Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she was great.
She was really good. Ben Affleck was pretty damn good as Batman, and you got the Bruce Wayne down, but other than that, the film was just shite and a really, really bad idea.
I actually liked it, but on second viewing, it didn't hold up quite as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of problems with it. I could see someone who doesn't know DC Comics very well being kind of confused. Like, I talked to a few people, and they didn't get certain things. Like, they didn't get, like the flash forward or potential vision of the future with, Darkseid's parademons and stuff like that. Because they had so many dreams, right? So many dream sequences, and then you
that was not good.
Yeah, and then you create a psychic vision, which also happens to have a time traveler character who we've not been introduced to yet. Not really, not in that costume and stuff. Make a really brief Flash appearance. Yeah, okay. An appearance in the Flash, which was kind of confusing. Even I knew what it was, but it was still kind of took me back a little bit. And I'm like, that was like convoluted craziness. But yeah, that kind of stuff. But I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I thought Ben Affleck was a much better Batman than I thought, and I liked his action scenes.
Yeah, that's the best Batman action scene that's been in a movie.
Oh yeah, it was a wicked action scene, and they just didn't really explain why he was so dark, why he was killing people. I think if they just took a moment to kind of explain to the audience who aren't familiar with the hints in there, that it would have been that much more powerful and stuff. Yeah, and Superman, which is boring like usual in the last two movies.
But basically, there's no humour in Henry Cavill's version of Superman whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So like, in most of the others, I mean, I like the guy, was it Taylor Hoshin, who played it in Supergirl. I thought he was really good.
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
he got the humour there and everything.
He's such a classic, iconic character. I think it just doesn't play right. It's like trying to do Sherlock Holmes meets Punisher or something. You can't change it too much, or it doesn't feel like the same character anymore.
It's almost, it's basically what Warner would, said they were trying to do before they made Superman, the first Superman movie of this batch, was they were trying to make it more like the Batman movies, and essentially that's pretty much what they did, but it doesn't work.
No, not for that character. It doesn't. I don't think, at least.
I've got an honourable mention. This isn't the best, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people thought it was going to be, and that would be Suicide Squad.
I liked it better than Batman vs Superman.
So did I. I liked it much better than Batman vs Superman. Yeah.
I like Deadshot and Harley Quinn. Those were good things. There were some good moments. I mean, the plot is a big mess. It's a hot mess.
I thought Boomerang was pretty fucking funny.
What's that?
I thought the Australian guy was pretty fucking funny. Was it Boomerang?
Captain Boomerang, yeah.
Got the Boomerang.
Yeah, he's funny. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, there was some. I watched it in 3D too, so it was even better in 3D. But yeah, it could have been. I think if they spent a little more time on it, it could have been a much better movie.
I haven't seen it. Do you see Boomerang coming at you in 3D?
I don't remember, but the parts where whatever the brother bad guy is of Enchantress, whenever he distorts stuff like in a subway and everything, that looks pretty awesome. It's kind of sticking out of the screen and stuff at you.
My one criticism of it is they need to fire the actor that played the Joker because he was shite.
Jared Leto. So what's the I guess some people really don't like him at all, right? I guess other people do. I don't know. What about you, Marx?
I mean, I think what he was given, he did a pretty good job with. But I don't. That version of Joker is just so weird. It's so different.
They basically tried to make the Joker into a pimp daddy, and it just doesn't work.
I don't know. It's just an odd take on the character.
Oh, so it's very different than what we've seen before in the different Jokers?
Yeah, and anything I've seen, even different animation takes of him and stuff. Just a bit too much. But yeah, oh well. Heath Ledger's Joker is still my favorite so far.
Oh yeah, amazing. Of course, I always loved Mark Hamill as well as the animated series Joker.
Oh yeah, it was cool. We saw him be a version of the Trickster that was more like Joker. Recently in Flash. But Suicide Squad was better than I thought it was going to be. It's still DC's going to have to do a lot better than that though if they want to compete with Marvel. And maybe Wonder Woman will do it. I hope so.
And I much like what Jeff was saying. When what was the film you went into with really no expectations? Now?
Who? Like
Shallows? No, The Shallows was a film that he mentioned as best. You went to see a film, but you had really no expectations of it, and you went out feeling that. Oh, Star Trek Beyond.
Oh yeah, that was the one. That was the one I mentioned. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Suicide Squad, I had really no expectations of it, and the only reason I actually went to see it in the end was because I'd actually landed an interview with the secondary villain of the film, and I needed to see the film in order to sort of know questions to ask the guy. So I basically went to see this film, and was writing a Q&A while I was sat there in the cinema watching the film for this guy, sort of thing. But that's the only reason I went to see it. If I'd not scored that interview, I probably would have waited for it to come out on DVD or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a fun little fact. But yeah, I quite like that film. One that I wasn't so keen on, and it wasn't because it was a bad film. I just don't think it was needed. The new Jason Bourne film.
Oh, Jason Bourne? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, I thought it was an okay film. It was pretty good at what it did. The action set pieces were great, and and Matt Damon pulls it off again, sort of thing. But I just don't think it added anything to the Bourne franchise. It wasn't really needed.
I actually don't like any of those films, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. But that's me done. The films.
All right, so I got two on my worst list. The first one I actually saw last night on Blu-ray, and that's Warcraft.
Not seen.
Yeah, lucky you. So, you know what's funny? I actually thought from the trailers it looked like they might have actually pulled something off with this, but no, it's just terrible. Like, the only good thing about this is like the main orc chieftain guy, and he's really good, and the relationship with his wife, and they have a baby. Like, that's pretty well done, and it's well acted. But all the human stuff is fucking terrible. Like, I'm sure the other stuff, these actors are fine, but they come across not very good for the most part. And it's probably because they got shit to work with. I actually can't believe Duncan Moon did this movie.
You mean Duncan Jones?
Because Duncan Jones, I'm sorry, he did the movie Moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the guy, right? That's where I'm getting that from. And then he did Source Code, I think, right, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Source Code I like. Source Code I actually like. That's a good movie. I still haven't seen Moon, but people rave about that movie. Oh, wow, man. This movie's terrible.
Wow. So basically, it's just as well David Bowie sort of like checked out in a year, so didn't have to see the film.
Well, I mean, that was very sad, actually, because that's his father, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's just a really bad
instead
story.
of World of Warcraft, it's World of War crap.
Nice. That's a good one, Marx. You know what? Also, the problem is there's no ending to the movie. The movie exists to set up sequels to this movie.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
And I hate when they do that, especially when your movie is so shitty. I never want to see any sequels again to this movie.
They'll do some direct-to-video. They'll make some money out of it somehow.
Like, but no, even if you're going to do that, can you please complete your movie? It should stand on its own still, you know?
Yeah. Especially the first one.
My other worst one is Independence Day Resurgence, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh my god.
I was hoping it'd be good, but yeah, I heard it was bad. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be, so much, better. I wasn't hoping, I didn't think it was going to be great because obviously it's a sequel and it's like 20 years after the original. And I've noticed something, these sequels that are like 20 or 30 odd years after the original film are just not working out too well. Tron Legacy, for example.
Yeah.
They're just not working out. It's
no.
I think it would have been better to have done the sequel 2-3 years after the original, so you could have kept, had the actors, roughly not much older than they were. But yeah, it was just it was a special effects clusterfuck with very weak characterizations and
Yeah, the problem is you don't really care about any of the characters in the movie. It's like, who gives a shit what happens to them? None of them are developed.
Just destroy the Earth.
In the first one, you actually cared about the characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
First one's a good one. It's classic.
Even though the first was still kind of like special effects clusterfuck, you cared about the characters.
But that was like one of those first kind of really big summer blockbuster special effects things.
What's that? I just loved the fact that the White House blew up.
Yeah.
But then again, when they did 24 Dying of a Day, and they set that in London, I was really disappointed that it was Wembley Stadium they blew up, and not the Houses of Parliament or Buckingham Palace or something like that. Why Wembley Stadium? You had an opportunity, America, to blow up the Houses of Parliament. Just do it, goddammit.
What did they use Wembley Stadium for? For soccer or football? Obviously, it's
football and big sporting events like that. Yeah.
You're gonna get on a watch list, Ian.
I don't fucking care.
Mark, you got any worse movies?
Not really. I try not to watch bad movies. I watched a really weird movie that I think came out last year, but it was on Netflix this year. A Christmas Horror Story.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one with William Shatner in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen that one yet. I've been avoiding it. I just watched Santa Snay, which is a few years old now. I think that was a Brett Ratner film. And it's basically Santa Claus is sort of like some demonic demon, and what happens is an angel does a deal with him when he loses a bet that he has to do good things for several hundred years. And at midnight on this particular Christmas Eve, the deal is officially at the end, so he goes back to his old demonic ways. It's funny. it's just a really bad film, but but it knows it's a really bad film. It's not trying to pretend to not be a really bad film. It's just funny.
Cool. So are we done with movies now?
Yeah, well, can I chime in with my one thing I wanted to mention
Sure.
about in general? Because I'm actually interested to hear you guys take on what I think. So I feel this way for a little while now, actually. This year kind of confirmed it. I feel we've come to the end of like seeing virtually any more great, innovative movies. And the reason that I feel that way is, number one, I used to go to theaters all the time, and I think I went twice this past year to actual movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing really makes me want to go anymore. Everything's either a sequel or a reboot. There's not like, I don't know, and it's gonna make me feel old. I sound old, I guess, but I don't know. When I was growing up, I remember like there was innovative science fiction films being made, and Hollywood's always been about making money, right? But I feel now more than ever, the sole purpose for any film to be made, what elements do we put in this film to make as much box office money as possible? And we don't really care the quality of the film, right? So there's plenty of good films being made, or, oh, that was fun, that was decent, but I don't find any great films being made anymore. And unfortunately, I feel like Disney, who I actually usually support, but Disney's a big problem with this, with the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe, in that all those movies, and I see them all pretty much, and I usually come out saying, yeah, that was good, that was a good movie, that was entertaining, and then I forget about it the next day, because all the movies are designed to just tie together into this grander scheme and make money every single year by releasing, multiple films a year. And by doing that, you're making sure none of those movies stand on their own as a great film, because all you're trying to do is make a film that can tie into your overall universe and get people into the seats, So I think like that makes a ton of money for them, and they're going to keep doing it. But I think that's bad for the movie making industry, and I don't like it at all. And I think that's just bad in general. And I don't know if we're ever going to get back to like amazing movies being made again that are breaking new ground.
I think the problem is here is, as you say, the emphasis is on making a ton of money and getting else. So therefore, they're not prepared. They're not prepared to take chances on new things. I mean, every now and again, you get a new film that comes out that everyone's crazy about, like Moon. The Matrix was really innovative, the first one.
Yeah.
And then they kind of killed it, because every other film was using bullet time and stuff like that, to a point where it kind of nullified, the Matrix movie sequels kind of nullified the whole thing. If you watch that first Matrix film as a standalone, great. If you watch the sequels, ruins it.
And that's a groundbreaking, innovative movie, I feel, the first Matrix.
But the problem is sort of like the Matrix. What was good about that? It was an original story. It was original idea, and that's what was so good about it. But the emphasis is on sequels and reboots. I mean, like this year, I went to see the new Tarzan movie, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it as a fan that's grown up with Tarzan movies, even way back, watching the black and white ones when they were aired on BBC Two back in the 80s with Johnny Weissmuller and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it as a Tarzan movie, but the trouble is the modern audience doesn't get Tarzan because things have moved on so much that it's kind of like a little bit not too feasible to have a guy living in the jungle sort of thing. and having those kind of adventures. But the same thing happened with Disney did the thing with the John Carter Mars film years ago. I thought that was really good again, but unfortunately, they, for whatever reason, it didn't take, or it wasn't marketed right, so the audience didn't catch on to it. But at the same time, you got all these, I remember back in the 90s, we had, towards the tail end of the 90s, we had The Mummy, which was fun. Sequels kind of ruined it, a bit like The Matrix. But we also had things coming out like Sister Act and films like that were kind of like no one expected great things of, but they did really well and doubled their money. The marketplace has become so saturated with sci-fi, fantasy, that there's very little else coming out other than sort of maybe the occasional rom-com and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just
Marx,
think.
what do you think, Marx?
I mean, it's a love-hate relationship thing. It makes them a lot of money. Even the stuff that doesn't do well in the box office has a ripple effect where previous installations, like on streaming and stuff, gives them big boosts in money. So I definitely see why they do it. I think there needs to be less of it and more original stuff, but I do think that as long as it's well done, it's okay to a certain extent. I think Marvel in general is doing a pretty good job with theirs. I mean, it's getting a little intermingled a little too much. But then again, it's the comic books, it's superheroes, and you can say the same thing about comic books when you read them, and they do a lot of crossovers. But I think a really good example of a bad example of it is what Warner Brothers is trying to do with DC. They're trying to mimic what Marvel's done, but they're trying to do it like super fast. And they're writing scripts super fast, and they are doing some interesting takes, I guess. That's one thing, but they're really bizarre. Some of them are, and these scripts are they're pumping them out like super fast, and they're just counting on them to make money, at least in Asia or something for them, and not worrying so much about if they're good. And that's a good example of what's bad whenever people do it. And I haven't watched a new Star Wars movie, so I don't know. But it's nice. There was so little Star Wars for so long, so I'm kind of happy to see some more Star Wars. I might change my mind in a few years after a few more installments. Yeah. But and I know that the Episode 7 did duplicate a lot of major beats from Episode 4. But I liked the characters a lot. They were different. I like the possibilities of what they could do moving forward, and so we'll just have to see if they just totally crib off the notes of the entire trilogy or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying, I won't. That's a whole other thing I can go off on, which I won't right now. But I mean, I guess part of my thing is,
and I do think one more thing is, for one thing, there are a few potentially good creative stuff coming out, because I've heard good things about Arrival. And The Witch.
Passengers looks really good, by the way.
Passengers could be. I'm still 50-50 on that, but it's definitely an interesting sci-fi take. I don't know. So there are a few things out there, and Arrival seems like one of those really thought-provoking movies from the 80s or 90s. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things. But I also think that a lot of that creativity, a lot of that risk in storytelling is happening more on television now, and I think that's where it's going to be at.
Well, I agree. That's why I watch TV is my main thing now, and it's away from movies. I don't care about movies so much, and I'm really about TV now, which I think we're gonna get to in a couple minutes here. I guess my thing is just that I can think of so many movies from my youth, right? Mm-hmm. Like the original Star Wars trilogy, right? Or Predator, Alien, Blade Runner, Contact, like all these different movies that I feel have, number one, they've stood the test of time like 20 to 40 years later, right? They will stand the test of time even beyond this. And every single one of these Marvel movies, I absolutely do not think none of those movies will stand the test of time. I don't even remember them now. I mean, I do, but like, I don't care about them after I see them. Like, because, and here's, I don't know, and this is why, like, I love Christopher Nolan so much, because, sorry, I'll shut up in a second. Christopher Nolan, like, he made his Batman movies. He didn't try to make a great Batman movie. He made to try to make a great movie, and that's why some people don't like it, because they don't like his version of Batman. But I love that's what he did it. He just wanted to make a great movies, and that also could stand on their own, you know? And that's why I like The Dark Knight, way better than any other, like, Marvel movie that's come out.
Yeah, those do stand the test of time, though. Those stand up to repeat viewings. I think I know what you're getting at. I mean, I can't really see myself. I mean, I own most of the Marvels on DVD, but I've only maybe repeatedly viewed them maybe 2 times since I got the DVD or got it on streaming. Whereas with the original Star Wars trilogy, I've seen that over and over and over again, and can watch it over and over again quite easily, and still get so much enjoyment from it, sort of thing.
I think it's also part of the problem with the genre. It's risky to change course too much. Like, really, most movies, they except for James Bond or something like that, you know, they change a lot. They're epic. They're like seasons or of a series or something. You know, they could go through big changes, usually big character arcs, and it's hard to do that with superheroes. You don't see it in comic books very often, and I would like to see it more, but it is a risky thing to do.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I want people to take risks. That's my biggest problem with episode 7, by the way. They took no risks. They did the safest possible thing they could. And I want people to take risks. That's how you get new, fresh things happening, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and yeah, you're right. And I totally understand. Like, I get the business side of things. Like, no, why would they take a risk when they're making this kind of money, right? That doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. But from my artistic side of things, as a creator and filmmaker, like, no, that's what I want people to do.
Well, it helps indie films stand out more then, right? That's a positive.
Yes. I wish. Well, yes, I wish. Like, I think, you know, we all wish, probably. Mark's obviously your fellow web series creator, that they would come and take more of the ideas from the indie side of things.
Maybe they just need to sort of like fire all these well-known film creators and just bring some indie film creators into the fold.
Hell yeah!
I mean, Duncan Jones, you know, he was an indie filmmaker, you know, with Moon. That was kind of like an indie film.
Yeah, but that's a problem. And then they freaking throw him into Warcraft.
Yeah. But that said, I did enjoy Source Code. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I like Source Code.
But, you know, it's really hard to make a good video game movie. There's so few out there.
I know, man. Like, why is it so difficult? Like, an Assassin's Creed just came out today. I'm curious. And that was Michael Fassbender, who I love. I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to be like, it's a video game movie. Like, I'm not confident that they did a good job with it. I'll watch it, but just to see, because I've played the Assassin's Creed games.
I'll watch it, and I'll probably get more enjoyment out of it from it than you, because I'm not really, you know, I've only really played one of the Assassin's Creed games, sort of thing. So I'm not that immersed in the Assassin's Creed games. So perhaps because of that, I might get more enjoyment out of the film than say someone who was an Assassin's Creed one. The one that I'm kind of dreading, and the one that I'm hoping that they don't mess up, is Uncharted.
Oh, they are doing an Uncharted, aren't they?
Yeah. But
that should be an easier one to do, though, because it's like Indiana Jones in a way.
It is, but if they cast Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake, I'm not going to see it.
Of course, they didn't really do a great job with the Lara Croft movies.
No.
The first one I liked at the time, but going back, it's not that great. Although they are trying to obviously reboot that too, like doing the new video game version, which would be good if they can do that right.
It's really dated and didn't stand up necessarily well for time, but I thought the first Mortal Kombat movie was pretty good. First go around.
I liked it. Again, that one is dated for sure. You're right. But I did like that movie, and I still watch it, man, just for fun.
Mortal Kombat!
I love the music at the beginning, too. It's, like, so intense. Like, gets you pumped up.
Yeah, right.
But I will watch any kind of martial art tournament combat movie. I don't care what it is.
Street Fighter?
Okay. Sorry, you proved me wrong. That
was a pretty bad one.
That was terrible. I do not want to see that again.
Well, they did another one recently, a Street Fighter.
Yeah, the Chun-Li one with Kristen Crook, who I like a lot from Smallville, and that was really bad too.
Yeah,
was it about 4.5 hours long or something? Because
no. It was. I saw it in the theaters actually. I was one of the few people who saw it in the theater. No, it's like probably a little under 2 hours or whatever. It's not long. It's really bad.
I did watch that, but I barely remember it.
There's a reason for that.
I didn't watch it because I thought the Van Damme movie was so bad that I just couldn't bring myself to go see it.
Yeah.
I was excited, man. I thought like, oh, good, maybe they can do a good Street Fighter and we can get like more Street Fighter movies. Nope.
Not gonna happen.
All right, well, we're gonna move on to TV.
Thank you for indulging me in that.
Oh, don't worry.
Whatever.
TV. Should I kick it off?
Sure.
Okay, well, all these I think we're probably going to be all in agreement with, because I've listed TV shows that I know that we probably are watching. Westworld, for me, best TV show of the fucking year.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't watch it because I don't have HBO, but I really want to.
Well, it's great. Sorry. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was well written and everything. And another Nolan behind that one.
Oh, is that Jonathan Nolan?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
He does some good TV stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, he, Person of Interest, which he did, was really good too.
Westworld was really well done. Very thought provoking. And
is it over with the season 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, do you guys know? Does any of that HBO stuff ever go to Netflix, or does HBO pretty much just hold on to themselves?
I think they hold on themselves, or I think.
Damn those bastards!
Yeah, HBO Go or maybe Amazon. Amazon Prime might allow you to buy.
Oh, they might. I just got Amazon Prime.
Well, you might be. I don't think you watch it through Amazon Prime, but they might have an option for you to rent it or something through that.
Yeah, well, I can actually get the episodes on Amazon.
You can? Like buy them, you mean?
Yeah, here in the UK, I can get them on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was ideally not wanting to buy the whole season, but if it's that good, maybe I'll consider it.
It's good. It's dark though.
It's probably sort of like as far as science fiction and speculative fiction goes, it's probably on the same level of quality as Game of Thrones.
Well, it's different, but yeah, it's well written.
I'm not saying it's better than Game of Thrones. I'm saying it's probably on the same par. It's different to Game of Thrones, but it's on the same par from a writing and dramatic point of view.
I feel like it's like if the best episode of Lost or something. I don't know, because it has a lot of twists and turns.
Oh, and sort of like Anthony Hopkins is awesome.
And that's something.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even know he was in it.
I guess
Ed Harris is awesome.
Yeah. And I guess that's another thing. It's so different from anything. I mean, I know it's based on a 70s movie, but it's still very different than anything that's been on TV before.
Yeah, it's also very, very different from the 70s movie. Although the 70s movie, sort of like if you watch the 70s movie of Westworld, and then you watch Terminator, the original Terminator, they're basically the same fucking film.
Really?
Sort of.
Terminator is one of my favorite films of all time, actually.
Well, Terminator is one of my favorite films of all time. But if you watch, if you boil the ingredients of Terminator right down to the core, it's basically just a chase movie. Bad guy comes in from and it's basically a robot chasing down and trying to hunt down humans.
Of course, this has a romance arc a little bit in it and time travel.
Yeah, but sort of like it's that those are just the added extras. The basic premise of the movie, it's a chase movie, bad guy chasing the good guys, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Westworld, it's sort of like the original Westworld. It's sort of like the same, or there is no romance and it's a guy that's being chased.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, but it's basically the same story.
Being chased by an almost invincible robot. That's kind of precursor to Terminator. But the TV show is totally different, way more subtle and complex. So, can I go next?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So another show I really liked this year was Stranger Things on Netflix.
Oh, I've not put that on my list. I should have done
Oh.
because I really enjoyed it as well.
Lose. But yeah, that was one until Westworld came on. That was like probably my favorite new show of the year. I just really like the dynamics of it with the kids, and it's like a throwback to the '80s, but it's still very much its own original thing. You know, way darker than you would normally get, and you know, it makes itself its own. Even though I know there's a lot of shots you can look at. Some of them they planned, some of them they didn't. That you can look back at other stuff, but it's still very much its own little creature.
Yeah, I've seen half of it. It is really good, and I love obviously the '80s throwback. But I don't know. You know what? I guess I enjoyed it, but I still haven't completed it. I guess I'm not as into it as a lot of people are. But I know a lot of people absolutely love that show.
It kind of put me in mind of Goonies.
Yeah, it's got Goonies.
Oh, it's a totally different vibe though, and tonally than Goonies.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like kind of cross between Goonies and the Stephen King miniseries of the 80s.
Right, because it has the bonding, I guess, of the kids that Goonies has, and that kind of relationship. Yeah.
There were a lot in the '80s. There were a lot of kids, led cast of shows.
Yeah, I like that though.
They
I was a kid. Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, and that's what it got turned down 11 to 19 times. I can't remember with pitches where they tried to get that show picked up because everybody's like, it's got kids, but it's not a kids show. It'll never work, kind of deal. That Hollywood thinking, and until Netflix gave them a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I wanna come up with a TV series where the entire cast is gerbil.
And okay, go for it. I feel like they did that, and they're the Chipmunks.
Oh yeah, Alvin the Chipmunks.
Alvin Chipmunks.
No, I'm thinking machine gun wielding gerbils with attitude.
Yeah, okay, go with that.
Yeah. All right, Netflix, pick that up right now.
All right, who's next?
All right. So I'm not just this. We're going obviously all 2016, right? So I'm going to be taking some of the shows from last season as well as this season, right? So The Flash has been my favorite show the first and second seasons it ran, and I think last year's season 2 was phenomenal. It was awesome. I think they just do such an amazing job with that show, with the writing, and the actors are great. Marx and I have talked about this before. I do feel this season currently has been weaker. I was afraid with the whole Flashpoint thing. I'm not totally digging that. I feel like they're starting to right the ship though, now that they've kind of done their mid-season thing, and revealed some stuff about Alchemy, who's one of the villains this season. But yeah, I mean, and the host, by the way, Cisco being pissed at Barry being really serious was driving me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see that. Like, I get why he's that way. That makes total sense. I don't want to see it. I want to see Cisco be funny and making geeky references.
Yeah.
I don't like HG.
You know what? I didn't at first, but he's really growing on me. I actually like with Tom Cavanaugh, right? Like, yeah. I just love Tom Cavanaugh in any of those roles. Earth 2, Wells is still my favorite by far. But I like HG.
Yep. I like Tom Cavanaugh, but I just don't like this HG. He just doesn't. I prefer the more serious scientist.
Don't worry, he'll probably die or disappear at the end of this season.
I'm sure there'll be a new one next season.
It would be hilarious if they do a new one every season.
Yeah. Well, that's great for him though. He must love it, getting to play a different character every.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. Anyway, but still overall, particularly going back to season 2, which was half of 2016, The Flash it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite superhero shows. My favorite superhero show, I guess. Well, one of my favorites.
My favorite.
My favorite non-Netflix superhero show.
It's one of my non-Netflix superhero shows. But I'm going to hand it over to you, Matt, because you're probably going to say one of the ones I've got listed here. So.
You want to talk about Netflix superhero? I mean, yeah, I think I enjoyed Luke Cage quite a bit this year. Not as much as Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but I thought it was a good addition. And I also liked season 2 of Daredevil, especially the first half with Punisher. I thought those were really strong.
Oh, the actor, I forget his name, John
Bernthal.
John Bernthal
Mhm.
was awesome. You know,
was.
he's like he for me is the Punisher I read in the 1980s when I got hold of a run of the Punisher comics in the 1980s.
Yeah, he really captures it well, and he's going to get his own show. See how that works out. It was nice that that battle between Punisher and Daredevil to me is kind of like what they're trying to do in Arrow this season, and they're not doing as good a job, I don't think.
I thought Electra was pretty hot.
Yeah, that always helps. Yeah, Electra was good. The whole hand storyline was a little odd in places, but tonally compared to the first half of the season, but pretty strong overall, I thought. I guess my thing is like superhero on TV. If I want it light, I go for Flash. If I want it darker, I go for Netflix. So,
Yep.
And that's why I stopped. I don't watch any of those Netflix shows anymore. Those Marvel ones are too dark.
yeah.
Like as soon as the Punisher came on the scene, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's pretty dark character.
I quite enjoyed. I was surprised, but I enjoyed Luke Cage. Although for me, it didn't really start going until around about the third episode. You know, after they told his origin story in the third episode, that's for me when it really kicked off. The first 2 episodes I found a little bit boring. But you know, once they got into episode 3 and did his origin story, and from then on, I mean, it was pretty good. But
Yeah.
I think Daredevil this year, although the second season of it wasn't quite as strong as the first, I think it was the strongest to come out this year.
Well, and the Kingpin is such a cool villain in Marvel. You know, they don't have very many villains in Marvel that they've kept around for very long, except for Loki. And he's really embraced that role of Kingpin. Even though he wasn't in season 2 a whole lot, it was very memorable what he was in. I'm sorry. Who's next?
Okay, I'm gonna give a big thumbs up for Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh,
That's
the only DC one I haven't seen so far, but I'm trying to catch up on it.
I just love the all-out absolute chaos of that show.
Season 2 has been a lot better than season 1, I have to say.
I quite enjoyed season 1, but you know, season 2's been really cool, and you know, although I am missing Rip Hunter, but it looks like they're bringing him back next, you know, in the second half of the season. But I've just really enjoyed it. I think Steele's been a pretty good addition.
Yeah, great addition.
Yes, you know,
It's one of my favorite characters in the group now.
and I'm loving the whole Vitson you know, relationship with Mick Rory. She's trying to sort of like straighten him out a little bit, and you know, it definitely helps that she's easy on the eye as well. So
that seems to be a theme with you, Ian.
Well, that I like sort of like dark exotic women.
Yeah, I guess so. Now that you point that out.
All right, well, I'm going to throw in, even though I know a lot of people have not been as high in the show lately, and there's a reason for that, but I'm still going to throw Arrow in there. I still am a big fan of that show. And I will say last season, 4th season, was its weakest, I felt. And the Damien Dark thing just didn't work. I don't think, anyway.
No, I didn't. I didn't think so either.
However, I do think, and I wasn't so sure about this season with the new team, but I actually think it's getting back to where it needs to be this season, to be honest with you. I think the mid-season finale was fantastic. There was an awesome twist at the end of that. And you know what? They're just like Oliver Queen, played by the way Stephen Amell plays him. I think he's just still my favorite. Like, I love that way that character is portrayed. And I'll just watch him because like it's just a great character, and I'm always rooting for him, man. And he's always putting up with all this shit, but like I don't know, like it's just good to see him trying to do the right thing and all this chaos going on.
I'm just waiting for you to do it, Ian. And he's good looking, which doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I was.
No, I'm not gonna go there.
I'm just teasing.
and they're getting, and I feel Felicity's getting back to how I like Felicity to be, like in the first couple seasons. Third and fourth, I think they just ruined her character, and I didn't know what the hell they were doing. So that's helpful too.
But I felt in the fourth season when they put Felicity in a wheelchair, they should have kept her in the fucking wheelchair.
Who?
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
She was like on her feet in a couple of weeks, thanks to some advancement from Parmatech, and I'm thinking, what the fuck?
That was terrible.
They should have kept her in a wheelchair. It would have been more of a good character building exercise to have kept her in a wheelchair. She could have been kind of like Arrow's equivalent to Oracle, and and a good sort of like character and role model for people that actually are in wheelchairs and do have this.
Well, it's not like she's a super physical character anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like you put Black Canary in a wheelchair and they're like, how does she help out now? Yeah, I thought that was kind of insulting a little bit to people who have handicaps, I think, and it was insulting to viewers in a way, because it was like they built up this whole event with her getting shot and then cripple her just to fix it, right away.
They did really build that up. You're right. Yeah.
On what's supposed to be the most gritty of all the shows, and it was bad. Bad call.
Very bad call. Although if it was me, I probably would have just killed her.
I'd miss her if she was on the show. She's a good character. Good addition. The three of them, the three core group, are so crucial.
I call her Arrow's bicycle, because she's kind of like been with pretty much every leading guy. She was with Palmer, and she went to Palmer, and she's not been with.
She's only been with like Palmer and no, she's with a new guy.
I'm just being with that cop that died.
3 people in 5 years. What?
Yeah, that's not really a crazy amount.
It just seems like
Oliver's been with as many or if not more, right?
It seems like she's been with more than 3 people. The way storylines are just right now.
Wow.
Anyway, I still look forward to it every week.
I have to say, Arrow has a unique challenge, is because it was supposed to be the dark, grittier show, but then Flash is so popular that there's a push to try to be more lighter like that, and I think they have a trouble finding that balance. They're all over the place sometimes, trying to find their identity after season 2.
Season 2 was, that was their best season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Slade was awesome. Who's next?
I've forgotten. I'm going to pose a question here. What do you guys reckon of Supergirl?
Much better season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, I like it overall.
I do. I really look forward to it now.
I'm kind of enjoying it, but I've not really particularly enjoyed the song, like the whole Annex finding out that she's a lesbian at age 30 storyline.
I actually dig that.
Yeah.
It would have been more believable in the 90s, but, it still happens.
I thought at first I wasn't going to dig it. I thought it was going to be one of those things where writers do things where they magically decide people are gay. And what I mean by that is they had they didn't plan for the character to be gay, like in their arc. They just decided, hey, why don't we make this character gay this season? And that just seems ridiculous to me, right? But the way they handled it felt realistic to me. We hadn't actually seen her with any guys except a little bit of possible with what's his face,
Maxwell Lord.
Maxwell Lord, you're right. But that didn't go anywhere, really, right? So it's totally plausible. Yeah, and I actually think it was handled well. The way they, told the story and had her with Maggie and stuff. I actually think they did a really nice job with that.
I kind of liked the you know when she comes out to Maggie and kisses her. You know, I thought that was handled really well. And Maggie's reaction to that, because she'd just come out of another relationship. You know, I thought that was handled well. But for me, the whole thing, I just think it's kind of dated. It would have been more progressive had it been in the 90s. You know.
I still think it's so good though, because I don't know. I like that they're doing it more in these superhero shows though, right? Because traditionally you didn't see hardly any gay superheroes, right? Or people in that. And she's not a superhero, I know herself, but whatever. She still saves the day and stuff.
She kicks butt.
Yeah, she kicks ass, even though she doesn't have powers. She still kicks ass. So I think that's good. I also think, by the way, on Arrow, like in the mid-season finale, the thing with Curtis and his husband, that I think is one of the best. That was just such a well done scene.
I was really gutted for Curtis. In that,
yeah.
You know, and you know,
that was a powerful scene. It was really well written and acted.
Yeah, that mid-season finale was definitely a high point for Arrow.
Yeah. So I like that they're doing like Supergirl and those shows. They're working that in. You know, like that's great. I think.
Yeah, you know, I got nothing against them working gay characters into things and stuff like that. It's just that in the Supergirl series for me, it just felt a little bit tacked on.
A little bit.
I'll be honest with you. I'd be interested. I'd actually be interested to know like if they had actually planned that from the beginning, or they just decided this season to do that. Because I'm not sure, but it's all right.
I think they decided this season, yeah, because they didn't really clue to it last season.
Right.
But they did it pretty well for deciding last minute.
Right. That's the thing. They did a really good job then, because normally like I can totally tell like, oh, you had no idea, man. That's just what are you doing?
Well, even one of my favorite lesbian characters in genre was kind of, you know, hand wavy on that with Willow and Buffy, you know, because
that's the worst one.
Yeah, and I mean, I still like it overall, but it is kind of like, well, you know, she was in love with Oz and stuff, and it's kind of weird, but
that's what I always think of. Now, look, they made it. I mean, she's a really good character, and it was fine after they established that, right? But no, that was preposterous. They had no idea. That was really like magic, and she has magic, so I guess you could say that happened. But,
yeah, you know,
that was magic.
The next frontier in these characters is to basically, you know, to have a bisexual character.
Martian Manhunter, you know, he's a shape-changer. Why not?
No,
but yeah, he said he has a wife, right? So
yeah, we had Captain Jack, but that was just done for a bit of a, you know, that was done more for titillation than anything else, and sort of like. So I think having a bisexual character, or even a transgender character, but we kind of got that in Sense8.
Yeah, Sense8.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys know there's a special Christmas Sense8 special?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
Well, it hasn't come out yet. December 23rd.
Oh, well, okay.
Cool.
Definitely haven't seen it yet.
There's also a new Canadian time travel show coming out on the 23rd.
Travelers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Oh, no. So anyway, Supergirl's actually on my list. It was on my list, so
cool.
I really like it.
Well, two more that's on my list real quick, I'll say real fast, is Black Mirror, that's on Netflix right now. I really like, this season's been really good, third season, and even though it's kind of depressing, many of their episodes are, I think it's really fascinating, the stories they tackle, and they had some really good ones this season. One was lesbians. That was actually
kind of like is that kind of like a Shakespearean thing? One does lesbians.
I don't know what Black Mirror is.
We're talking about lesbians for some reason. Black Mirror is an anthology sci-fi show, kind of like Outer Limits or Twilight Zone.
Limits?
Except it's all about technology that very real could potentially happen too, and how it's affected society. And usually it's affected society in dark ways. So.
Dude, one does lesbians. It sounds like the Shakespeare play that was never written.
Well, it's not the name of the episode or anything, but it's a really good episode that I was talking about. It's almost like a romance, but it's really well done, and which is unusual for sci-fi. And it was episode 3 or 4. San Junipero, I believe it's the name. You should, if anything, check that one out, because it was a really well done story for television.
Probably will.
Yeah, and then also a new one that I just picked up on Netflix that I'm liking so far, but I haven't finished yet. Is Crazyhead.
Oh yeah, that just came out.
Yeah,
Is that a sci-fi?
Yeah, yep. It's like Buffy in a way, but it's like raunchier.
Interesting.
So
I really have dug it so far. Ian, is it the showrunner who created Misfits? Is that the same person?
Yeah, is it the one about the two girl demon hunters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've only caught a glimpse of it. I've not actually watched any of it.
You should check it out. It's pretty good. I think Misfits is not a bad show, but it's comedic timing, and sometimes it's comedic timing and sometimes off sometimes, and or it's tonally off sometimes, and it also gets really raunchy, like uncomfortably raunchy in places. Whereas so far, Crazyhead has struck a really good balance and tone and comedic timing and everything. So far, I've watched it.
Cool. Okay, I've got one more to mention on my best list, and that's Humans, the second season of Humans.
Oh,
really,
I want to watch that.
They kind of took it to a next level where, you know, they
Don't spoil it for Jeff.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, but I really want to.
They took it to the next level. I mean, the second season for me stronger than the first in a lot of ways. The first season got a bit too bogged down in the kitchen sink drama of me living with the family sort of thing. Whereas second season, it kind of like it took it out and made it more worldly, I guess. And you know, I kind of enjoyed it. Also, the pacing in the second season was better overall of the actual story and the overall arc. So I really enjoyed that second season. Just ended last week. Have you got any? Do you have any more, Jeff? Because I've got two. I've got two for the worst.
Yeah, here's one that there's always every year there's usually one series that I love that gets canceled, unfortunately, and this is the one that got canceled last year. It's called Limitless.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Which was based on the movie, but this was way better than the movie. And it's about, you know, a guy who takes this drug called NZT, which lets him access 90% of his brain instead of 10% or something like that.
Which is probably not good science, but you get the idea.
Yeah, right. He works for the FBI. But man, it was so well done. Like, it was just great storytelling. The acting was great. It was also fun. Like, there was humor and quirkiness in it. The main actor and the female FBI agent, they had really good chemistry together. It wasn't even a romantic thing really, but just like they had a good, you know, just partner type chemistry. Yeah, man, I was really bummed. And before I got on here, I looked at the ratings, and it was actually pretty highly rated. Like, it was pretty solid. So I don't really understand why it got canceled, except that CBS, if it's not CSI or NCIS, I guess, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm in agreement with you. I really enjoyed it, and based on, you know, something you said last year, I think you mentioned Forever.
Forever, yeah.
Based on that, I actually watched the entire season of Forever, and I absolutely loved it. And I can't understand why that one was cancelled, because I actually really enjoyed it.
That was great. Last year was Forever. Limitless was this year's for me.
Forever Limitless.
And I tell you what, here's my worst TV of the year so far. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
MacGyver. What the fuck?
I'm okay on that.
I actually think it's.
No, I mean, I'm okay with you putting it as your worst, is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Another remake.
Like the original, I really like.
The original I love, but the new one, what the fuck? They may as well call it Team MacGyver. He's never out doing anything on his own. And why the fuck they got a hacker in there? They don't need a computer hacker in there. MacGyver could hack a computer. He can defuse a nuclear bomb with duct tape and a coat hanger, for God's sake. And, you know, what the hell have they done with Jack Dalton?
Oh, I know. No. The supporting characters like Dalton and Thornton, they did a terrible job with those characters. Yeah.
And Thornton, she's got the actress playing Thornton. You know, I've seen more charisma in fucking Sawdust. It's just. It's just.
It's totally right. And by the way, I'm not dissing the actress, because I'm not saying it's her. It's just the role they've given her is like the Ice Queen, basically.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's kind of like MacGyver is kind of like someone forcing me to eat Brussels sprouts, and Brussels sprouts to me is like the vegetable equivalent of waterboarding. It's just terrible. Another one, this wasn't quite as bad as MacGyver. It just sort of like fell on its ass a little bit for me. Was Hooten and the Lady. It's a British thing.
What is it called?
Hooten and the Lady.
Hooten?
Yeah, Hooten and the Lady. And Michael Landis plays Hooten. You may remember him as Jimmy Olsen from the first season of Lois and Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's basically an action adventure show. They're trying to generate sort of like an Indiana Jones style type thing. The lady is sort of like she works for the British Museum in acquisitions. She meets up with this Hooten who's sort of like a down his luck adventurer sort of thing, and they go on these adventures together. And they've got the comedy and the action beats great. And and stuff, but where it falls down is it falls down on the seeking artifacts every week. The mythology of the artifacts, there's hardly anything there in terms of the mythology of the artifacts to actually make it interesting, sort of thing. It's just sort of like it's kind of really shallow. And my other worst, which is, going to surprise a lot of people because a lot of people are raving about it as the best thing ever, Stan Lee's Lucky Man.
What is it? Stanley's what?
Lucky Man.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. I was kind of...
Mucky Man?
Mediocre. Lucky. Like, you're so lucky.
Yeah, it was slow. It's sort of like the whole season was slow, and it got kind of predictable towards the end, and I find it hard to believe that's been picked up for a second season, and something like Limitless and Forever didn't get a second season
because they weren't made by Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee's Limitless.
Well, Stan Lee's name is just, I think he came up with the concept of it, but for the most part, his name's just tagged onto it. It's just a marketing thing.
That's what they need his name tagged on. Yeah. Maybe have William Shatner guest star. I don't know.
But that's all my TV.
All right, I got one on the worst. First off, I'm going to say this is really obviously not a fair assessment, probably because I watched only a few minutes of it. But when something is so bad in the first 5 minutes that I have to turn it off, I'm going to put it on my worst list anyway. And I think, Mark, you might have watched some of this, or maybe Ian too. I want to hear what you guys think. But Timeless is what I'm putting on.
I've only seen the first episode.
Now, I love time travel shows, by the way. I love them. It's one of my favorite things. I didn't think the previews looked good, but the first 5 minutes of the show, the dialogue was so atrocious, and the way they introduced the characters, I was like, I'm done. That's it. I'm already done with the show.
It's an odd show. You have to leave logic.
I'm really enjoying it, but it's not on my best list. I'm just really enjoying it from the sense of that it's kind of a pulpy type thing.
Yeah, I kind of dig 12 Monkeys more for time travel.
The characters.
Oh, that's good.
Were a bit sort of like comic booky and cardboard cut out, and the introductions of them were clumsy. I also think that they really fucked up in the pilot episode by using Hindenburg. They could have got so much mileage out of that and had a 90-minute episode with the Hindenburg, because it's something that's not really being explored in fiction much on television or in movies, sort of thing. So they could have got
almost as good as blowing up Parliament, right?
Well,
that's episode 3.
Blowing up Parliament was one.
It is interesting that Timeless changes history, though. I have to say that's gutsy.
It is. I think it's a fun show. It's just in the tradition of pulp series. I mean, it's also going to be one of those shows that kind of is always going to have people that just hate it from the first 5 minutes.
Yep, that's me.
But I didn't have terribly high expectations of it to begin with. So I like it. It's better than fucking MacGyver.
Marks, you got any?
Worst? Not really. I don't watch bad TV.
He's like, I don't watch bad movies and I don't watch bad TV. Like I hear what you're saying because I try to avoid all that too. But come on, there's got to be times where you see something either in movies or TV that you thought was gonna be good that's just not.
I don't remember what year. I don't know if it was late this year or not. Rush Hour was bad. I know it wasn't this season.
Oh,
though.
the TV show?
Yeah. I tried watching that a little bit. It was
because I like the movies, but that was bad.
Yeah. So, I don't know. A bad series that's gotten a little bit better is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like this so far this season with Ghost Rider. It's not my highest caliber of show necessarily, but it's gotten a lot better.
I gave up on that show a long time ago.
Oh, season 1 was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Supernatural is always one of my favorites that we watch. So, but it's not like a standout necessarily anymore.
It's just because Marx makes all the porn references that Dean Winchester makes. That's all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a new Star Wars porn movie. It's called Star Wars: The Foreskin Awakens.
Oh, I know some.
Foreskin. Gross.
I know some bad movies. Now I think about it. Hunters was bad, or TV show. I mean, that was a Sci-Fi Channel show. I only watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't care for it very much.
I kind of saw the adverts for that, and that was enough to put me off.
Oh, here's another one that was bad, which might make people mad. But I know some people are fans of it. I don't get it. It's Winona Earp.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't.
So the pilot was bored. It was just kind of like, let's trying to do Buffy.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on the comic book series.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like it very much.
If they based it on the comic book series, she'd actually have breasts.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
There's definitely a theme going on with Ian here. This show.
I know, right?
I've not actually read the comics, but I seen a pilot and I just found it boring.
I wanted to like it. I was like, I'm going to check it out. And, I might like this. It sounds like something if you like Buffy or something, But it was just really bland, and the production value was not very good for what I would expect from Sci-Fi Channel.
Van Helsing.
Yeah, how is I actually kind of want to. I want to check that out. Is that any good?
I really wanted to like it, but ended up being bored shitless after the first episode.
I mean,
so
I watched the first episode. I'm on the fence on that. I haven't watched any more, so I can't really say. It was better than the first episode of Winona Earp.
Well, that's great recommendation.
Yeah, but it's very dark.
Hey, here's a new sci-fi show that just came out recently that I'm pretty much digging. Incorporated. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
It is. It is good. Like I'm not ready to call it like amazing yet, but obviously it's only 3-4 episodes in. Actually, the episode's on right now. I'm missing it. That's okay. I'll watch it later. But yeah, no, it's a cool concept, and so far it's interesting.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel's made some improvements. I think Magicians and Expanse are pretty good. They're not what I would put on my top 10 list yet because there's so many shows out right now.
Yeah, Magicians wasn't doing it for me, but I do want to watch The Expanse.
Magicians is very dark. I mean, I think it's
kind of weird too.
It is weird.
I only seen a pilot of Magicians, and I found it kind of slow.
It gets better, then it gets a little bit not as good, and then it gets better, and then it gets really dark. And the end of the dark ending, you're either gonna go, "Whoa, it's awesome," or you can go, "Oh, I'm done with the show forever now."
Hey, have you? I just got Amazon Prime actually. Have you guys seen the Man in the High Castle? Either of you?
I haven't seen
Man in the High Castle is probably one of the best things on at the moment.
Yeah, it's really
great. It's fantastic.
Okay, cool. Well, now they've got 2 seasons out now, so I'm gonna go watch it.
It's very, very dark. I've only actually seen the
Oh,
first
all right. Well,
episode.
I'll give it a try.
It's very dark. Yeah.
Oh
I've only
man,
seen the first
that's the
episode.
problem with a lot of shows.
Have you watched The Tick?
No.
The new
The
Tick.
Tick, the animated show.
The new Tick TV show.
There's a new one.
Yep, on Amazon. There's only have the pilot so far, but
Wait, didn't they do? They did a live action Tick and an animated Tick, right?
yep, this is the new live action. This year.
Patrick Walt. What's
No.
his name again?
No,
Whatever his name.
no, he's not.
Warburton?
He's
Warburton.
not taking it.
Okay.
We for GenreTainment we interviewed Ben Edlin, the creator of The Tick and showrunner of the new show, and it's if you like The Tick, you should check it out. Although it also is slightly darker. It's still a comedy though, but it is a little bit darker comedy. Everybody's going dark, except for Flash.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole other freaking thing I go off on about the whole state of the world and why that is. But
Here's another good one. A fun one. Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Have you seen that? It's basically it's funny as hell.
wait, is that Van Damme starring in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically he's basically taking the piss out of himself.
It's Amazon. You got a bunch of stuff to explore on Amazon now.
All right.
Well, when I saw Super Knocked Up on Amazon.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. My series Super Knocked Up actually just went up on Amazon Video. It's about if you haven't seen it, it's an action comedy. Super villain gets pregnant by her superhero nemesis, and I was really excited that we went up on Amazon. Thank you for mentioning that, Marks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so please, if you're, and by the way, you don't actually have to be an Amazon Prime subscriber. You can watch it for free without that. So search for Super Knocked Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we done with TV?
Yeah, I think we're done with TV. Comics and books next.
Yeah, I probably have to wrap up in 10 minutes or so. Just
Well, I'm gonna
No,
wrap.
just starve.
because I haven't eaten yet. It's getting late.
I'm gonna wrap up real quickly with the comics I've been reading and enjoying. And that's Star Wars ongoing series, Back to the Future ongoing, James Bond, Star Wars Han Solo, The Stray, Mr. Quinn and Vampire Hunter, which is a mini series which is ending next month, and the $6 Million Man, Forger Man, which ended next month.
I thought you were going to say the porn name you did earlier.
What, the $6 Million Cock?
Yeah.
Wait, there's a $6 Million Man book. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Dynamite have been doing. They did $6 Million Man season 6 a couple of years back.
Oh, the comic series.
Yeah, and this new one that they've just released, the $6 Million Man, Fallen Man. That's kind of like a continuation of it, and they're basing continuing the $6 Million Man from where it left off in the 70s.
To me, $6 Million Man, Fall of Man sounds like a crossover between $6 Million Man and Planet of the Apes. Which would be kind of interesting.
Maybe it is.
No, it's not actually. It's actually a really cool story.
Cool.
I'm not going to say anything, but it's and it's actually very much in the style of the 70s TV series, the way they've written it and stuff. You know, I just, you know, from a nostalgic point of view, and $6 Million Man kind of like being the first science fiction show that I really got into. So I was into that before Star Trek, before I actually even watched an episode of Star Trek. It's just fun for me to read.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read most of those. So
Well, I've been reading Hellblazer as well. So
cool. So I have not read a whole lot of at least not new comic books from this year. I backtracked and read a bunch of graphic novels of Suicide Squad before the movie, but I've been reading a lot of books without pictures. And
well, someone has to.
I know, right? I've read over 100 books this year. That was one of my goals to do because I hadn't been reading very much. Yeah, and I read over 100. A lot of them were nonfiction books, especially on writing and other stuff like that. But I did read a number of fiction books. So I wanted to give a shout out to a few that came out this year, especially the indie ones, because I've been reading some indie, authors. The book is not an indie one, but the book Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. which has nothing to do with the sci-fi TV show.
Mm-hmm.
That will be turned into a movie soon. It was very good. Blake Crouch was the guy who wrote Wayward Pines books that got turned into a TV show. Has a lot of good twists and turns and really cool concept. Very different. Another series is the Void Wraith trilogy. It's a sci-fi, far future sci-fi one by Chris Fox. That's really I got into that at first because he did a thing online about writing a book in 21 days, and that was the first book that they wrote in that series to try to prove that could be done. And the book sold really well, and I was interviewing him. I'm going to interview him, so I thought I'd read the first book, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll read it. But I really got hooked on it. It was, if you like action sci-fi type stuff, space sci-fi, then it's a fun read.
So do you read that in 21 minutes?
No, it's a little longer than that. And another book series, it's a series of novellas that's really good. It's, the series called Karma Police by Sean Platt and David B. Wright, and all these people except for Dark Matter are indie authors. And it's a series about a person who jumps into different bodies every day-ish or so. It's not always every 24 hours, but give or take, every day they go to sleep, wake up in a new body. But they have no memory, like they have amnesia. So they can't remember if they're male or female, basically. So this person falls into these plot lines where like someone's going to die or has died or whatever, and trying to solve the mystery and stuff, and they're like just randomly jumping into different bodies around this story arc. It's a really neat method I've never seen before. It was a really cool storyline, and I thought it was really well done.
It's a little Quantum Leap-esque.
Yeah, it's Quantum Leap a little bit, and it goes in some really different directions and unexpected directions. Really neat.
What's it called?
The series is called Karma Police.
Karma Police?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best name, but that's the name of the series. I think the first book is called Jumper or something like that, but it was really good. The first book I could see like being a movie or something. It was so tight. The plot structure was pretty tight, and I'm kind of hooked on them now. Another, shout out to Dresden Files because they're always awesome by Jim Butcher, and yeah, it's a great book series if you like urban fantasy. I wish it could have been a good TV show. Maybe someday.
I've read all of those.
Yeah, they're awesome. And then one more little shout out of something new that I've discovered is a book series called the Kutherian Gambit series. Again, a questionable title for marketing, but okay. What got me onto this series at first is that the creator of it, Michael Anderle, decided, I'm going to write books. I'm turning 50. I'm going to die someday soon, so I better get to it. And he pumped out these books in a series, like freaking 6 weeks at a time or so, which came with certain problems that he had to adjust to of editing and stuff. But he started that up last year in November. At this point now, he went from making like a few bucks a month to now making over $50,000 a month. And he has 14 books out. What really caught my eye now, too, especially, is he's starting to co-write spin-off series in this world with other authors. And I started reading one called Justice is Calling that I've really enjoyed, which is about, it's in that setting, but it's like in the future, like a post-apocalyptic type setting. And this woman, I guess I should say it's about vampires and werewolves and stuff, but with an alien twist to it. This woman who's a vampire basically has turned on her own people to try to fight them for some reason. I haven't finished the book yet, but she's joined with a human and a were-cat and all that stuff, and it's a really cool adventure stuff. And all these books are very like fast-paced adventure type stuff, and it's really caught on and caught my imagination too.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, I just got a couple books to mention. I'll start with one worst, or I guess I'll say most disappointed, and that's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is the play, the script book, basically, of the play they're doing. That takes place like, what is it? How many years? I forget how many years is it. After the, 17 or something, right? After the movies end, or the original book series end. Anyway, the Harry Potter books are some of my favorites of all time. Like, I absolutely am enchanted with those books. And this one was a big letdown. I actually only read half of it because I was just, done after that. And Rowling doesn't actually write this one. She and two other guys came up with the story, and then one of those dudes wrote the actual play. Mainly just because I don't really want to read. I don't think this is really giving anything away. I read a book all about how one of Harry Potter's sons is a really whiny kid and thinks Harry Potter is like the worst father ever. Like that's not what I want to read, you know. So like I just like I don't want to read Cisco in the Flash be all like freaking Barry, you're the worst friend ever. So yeah, I don't know.
I heard a lot of Harry Potter fans say that. I haven't read all the books, so I'm not to that point to try to read that yet.
I would highly, highly recommend the other, the real, the first 7 books, of the series. The two I will mention that I did really enjoy. One is Heir to the Jedi by Kevin Hearn, which of course in the Star Wars universe. So Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn are my all-time favorite Star Wars books, and some of my all-time favorite books, period. Those are the ones that came out like 20-some years ago, the first expanded universe books. But this is, I would say, probably the author who came the closest to getting Luke the way I think he should be since Timothy Zahn did. It's like, I think it's pretty much just a little bit after New Hope. It's like when Luke's still trying to learn his powers, right? And like how to actually use his Jedi powers. And Luke's my favorite character. It's a well done story. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not a fan that all those other books that they came out, they've decided those don't exist and they're in the Legends universe now or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that's just nonsense to me. But this is one of the new like I don't know, canon books, I guess we'll call them, right? That's what they are now.
Until they decide otherwise.
Right. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, all that other stuff still exists. And the other ones is this is a very long running series called the Xanth series by Piers Anthony, one of my favorite fantasy authors.
Oh yeah, where they have shoe trees and.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and he's got, oh boy, I don't know, man. I think he's in 30 some on, maybe approaching 40 books in the series now. And he's like late 70s or late 80s now, but he's still cranking them out, man. And Isis Orb is the one I think that came out this year that I read. But I've also going back and reading some of the older ones too. And they're all, I mean, I'll be honest, these books are they're just fun, they're just fun fantasy books, and there's a lot of silliness and humor in them, but they're always very enjoyable.
I read the first one and really enjoyed it, but I got about 20-30 pages into the second, but never got a chance to continue it for whatever reason. But I did read the first one.
He's 82 right now.
Oh yeah, and he's still writing them, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the name of this book. I actually read it this year. It came out probably a number of years ago. It's by Kevin J. Anderson. Oh,
I have read some of his stuff.
And it's called Nemo. And the premise of the book is, what if Captain Nemo and Jules Verne were childhood friends, and Nemo goes off and has adventures, and Verne writes about Nemo's adventures, sort of thing.
Wait, Nemo and who were friends? Oh, Jules Verne?
Jules Verne.
Oh, okay.
And basically what happens in the book, Nemo goes off and has these adventures and comes back every once in a while and reports what's happened to his friend Jules Verne, who's got his own arc in the book. And basically, Verne writes about his adventures, and the whole book is sort of like Verne writing about Nemo's adventures while learning his craft as becoming a novelist and writer under the tutelage of Alexander Dumas, who's kind of like mentoring him. And while that's going on, Nemo's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with Nautilus, fighting off in the Crimean War, meeting Florence Nightingale and a bunch of other people, so like, and all this stuff that's sort of like lifted from the pages of many of Jules Verne's classic books, and it's got a mixture of actual history, sinking in, such as the Crimean War, which actually leads to Nemo, helping some navy develop and build the Nautilus sort of thing. It's a really clever book. It's a lot of fun. But I read that this year.
Cool.
Very cool.
I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah, and that's it. I can't remember the full title of it. It's bugging me.
Well, search Nemo and Kevin J. Anderson. I'm sure it'll come up, right?
Yeah.
Can we get some links out before we get out of here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can catch my stuff all at supergeekedup.com. Actually, that's probably the easiest way to also right on the homepage. There's a link at the top to go to Super Knocked Up on Amazon. You can go watch that for free. Season 2 should be up now, I think. They said season 1 was already up and season 2 should have been up like in a day or two. If you check those out, that would be great. And I do a bunch of other shows too. Super Geeked Up Live is a geeky pop culture show where we have different guests on and we play geeky improv games with them and chat about other geeky stuff. That returns January 4th. We do it Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern. And let's see what else. Oh, well, Marx is actually part of our D&D show. We do Dungeons & Dragons Monday Night Mayhem every Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Where Marx and I and some others, we play D&D. Right? We stream it live and we get people chatting along with us, viewing. And
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marx plays a halfling ranger. I play a half-elf rogue in it. And then the last show I do is called Saturday Night Star Wars, where we play a Star Wars role-playing game called Edge of the Empire, which is super fun. And we do that Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the same kind of deal. You can chat along live with us. And Marx might make an appearance there too, possibly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all at supergeekedup.com. You can get all that stuff on there.
I'd love to do the Star Wars thing, but 10 p.m. Eastern, it's a bit of a late start.
Yeah. Oh, yes, for you it definitely is.
Yeah, Star Trek was pretty rough for you.
Well, Star Trek, at least it started at about from like 12:30, half past midnight.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't end until about 5 p.m., but 5 a.m.
5 a.m., I hope.
It just kind of like felt like 5 p.m. because the amount of dice rolls we had to do. But,
so another story.
It was good fun. It was good.
Yeah,
fun.
he's talking about, we all did a thing called Star Trek Adventures, which is a new RPG Marx got to beta test, and we participated. And that's actually up on the Super Geeked Up channel as well right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and so for me, you can find me at marxpyle.com. On my works, I'm an author and an indie filmmaker, web series creator, and also a podcaster for GenreTainment, which is part of this feed, of course. And Ian.
Well, you find me at scifipulse.net, which is basically news and reviews. And also you can find all the latest episodes of SFP-Now and GenreTainment at scifipulseradio.com. But it's also on YouTube. It's also on, iTunes and
Stitcher.
And Stitcher and all those other great things that are out there. So,
And you can find his different suggestions for porn titles probably up there too.
No, I've not actually got a website for those, but I think I should actually start doing them and start doing the premises and plot points for these sort of like porn parodies.
Yeah.
You should.
You just put it on there and like, hey, these are free to take. I just give me a copy afterwards.
just let me be on set when you shoot.
Just let me be one of the stars. Just let me wear a screen mask though. So no one has to see my face.
So you're fine with them seeing everything else, just not your face.
Just not my face, dude.
Well, with that.
What a great way to end.
That's
a great way to end 2016.
I just think it'd be funny, me in a porn movie doing the thing, wearing a Cyberman mask, and saying, "You will be deleted. You will be deleted."
That's like mixing so many different shows.
That'd be just weird. Oh boy.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed listening to us in 2016, and we look forward to talking to everybody again in 2017.
Yep, and we'd like to make you aware, this is a disclaimer, no animals or furry things were harmed in the making of this program. But, Happy New Year. We'll see you next year.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Happy New Year.